If actual age or status were measured by spiritual impact, many people walking among us would be recognized as deeply wise teachers, the exact equivalent of a revered old man in the spiritual realm. But in the physical realm, we don't see that. Our ego filters block our spiritual perception. We reduce people into the obvious because we simply cannot perceive what is hidden in plain sight. Most people listen to elders the moment they speak, because the ego automatically equates chronological age with wisdom and experience. It blindly assumes they know something you don't. And yet, the ego completely discredits the reality of our own laziness. We falsely equate someone existing longer with knowing more. We fail to realize that someone can exist for the exact same amount of time as us, but they simply worked much harder to learn. The ego deliberately discredits the growth of others to defend itself from its own shame. It prefers the obvious because the obvious feels safe. But if we look at the truth, many elders have caused a catastrophic mess throughout the course of history. Adolf Hitler was 43 years old when he took absolute power over Germany as Chancellor in 1933, and he was 56 when he took his own life. If we use him as a measurement, he was no smarter or more mature than a child from a humanitarian perspective, completely lacking emotional and psychological maturity. Many times in this life, you will be disrespected and discredited based entirely on your youth or your physical age. When that happens, don't take it personally. It tells you immediately exactly where that person is standing in their own ego degradation journey. This often happens to me in real life. Even with this YouTube channel, it's clear to me that many people discredit it without giving it a real chance. Because these days, everyone proclaims themselves to be an expert. It's a silent competition of worth and status, constantly measuring whether someone is deserving of our attention or not, simply because we assume we are above them. I meet people who pretend to be my friends. I share my YouTube channel with them, and they don't care enough to watch it. Make no mistake, it is not only a lack of interest based on their own personal lives. It is an immediate estimate and measure of the value I offer, based entirely on how much authority they think I have and how much respect they think I deserve before they will allow themselves to see a treasure instead of just an assumption. And this can happen to us all. It is not only the ego defending itself in a silent competence competition, but also the ego fighting against love when it comes to giving you any sort of credit and respect. People would rather discredit you to defend their ego, even if what you offer is completely free, than encourage you to continue. Even if they recognize there are people who actually could use your help, this reveals that they don't mind seeing you feel unappreciated or alone. They never intended to practice prevention and stop that pain from happening in the first place. Many even subconsciously hope you fail, because for you to succeed would directly trigger their ego by proving how wrongly they assumed your value and how poorly they judged you before ever respecting what you could offer. This reveals a profound truth. Respect is not something that should have to be earned. Respect is a core structure of our moral code. Because if it is based on status, who will respect the words of the homeless? The status simply doesn't match what society equates to respect. Respect shouldn't always be a response to success. It should be an assumption rooted in love, an assumption of what each person can offer that only God knows. Demanding that everyone must constantly prove their worth to you is playing God. It is like having a blessing right behind a door, but refusing to open it just because the door doesn't look fancy. Judging is not only about conflict or sins, it is also about the rigid conclusions we make about what value is and exactly how it must look to our ego. Collective love means giving the benefit of the doubt before making final conclusions about someone's value. A person can have pure gold to offer, and yet everyone's silence can make them feel like they only have bronze. That reality can feel incredibly lonely, acting as a constant silent attack on their worth. Collective love is prevention, and we must learn to prevent the consequences of leaving people to feel like this. This can lead people to even depression, because life is meant to be shared, and love is not meant to only be earned. Because then at our lowest, we justify everyone abandoning us. We must stop making love out to be so complicated and help others shine instead of suppressing their light so ours doesn't feel dimmed by their glow. We all need each other to make this world a better place. And we can all start with collective love as a routine. You can start today by simply giving people a chance before you discredit them. Many people in this life just need someone to believe in them. They can believe in themselves and yet still hurt, because they know very well that before they were successful, everyone around them was fake. They only believe now because their ego can't discredit them anymore by focusing on the material results. It is a sad reality where the before is full of silent insults and the after is full of forced praise, because the ego lost a value competition game. In this war between ego and love, you can start choosing love today with this simple action. Believe in others' value. Before it's too late, I hope that helps, and if it does, subscribe for more. Much love and take care.